ultimately, I know that things take time. I know that where I am and where I want to be, there's a gap. And that gap is all about consistency, showing up, consistency, showing up. So I'm okay with that transformation taking time, right? Just like you need to be okay with your transformation taking time in your business. Like you start here, you decide who do I need to become to be a 6A? Who do I need to become to be a great leader? Who do I need to become to influence others, to have people listen to what I have to say? Who do I need to become to show up in this way? You know what I'm saying? So it's always this, who do I need to become? And then find other examples of people that have that already. So for example, for me, the people that I look up to in business and entrepreneurship that are successful, doing like $1 million a month in revenue and profit and so on, every single one of these people works out. Every single one of these people eats healthy. Every single one of these people does all this kind of thing, right? And if they don't, I'm not even wanting to listen or to learn from them because I know that it's not sustainable. And eventually they're going to get a disease and an illness. And then all the money in the world that they have is fucking useless because they lost their health. And health is wealth. I hope you find value. Let me know below if this is making sense around appreciating other people's journeys and celebrating them and being excited for them, clapping for them, cheering for them as if it was you, right? That's the key. And there's a really significant difference between those people who are thriving and living abundant lives and having successful businesses and successful lifestyle and everything. They're the ones who celebrate other people's success the most. And the reason why is because we're all connected. And so if you want to accomplish big things, right? You want to be a millionaire, you want to hit the high ranks in the company, and someone hits a high rank before you that you don't even know this person, and you kind of go, oh, whatever, good for them. Like some sort of fucking bullshit attitude like that, that's literally stealing from your own success. That is the equivalent of you taking a sledgehammer and aiming at yourself in the mirror and smashing it. And then the sledgehammer comes out the mirror and takes your own knee out. And you're like, oh man, what the fuck am I doing? Right? I just busted up my own knee. That's kind of what people do when they don't celebrate people's success. They're not happy for them. And it's because of the comparison game. Instead of just being like, look, this is just another example that this is possible for me as well. This is another example that if they can do it, so can I. And it may not be on the same trajectory or the same timeline, and it's irrelevant. And when you get this, the more you surround yourself with people that are winning, the more likely you will win, as long as that energy is remembering, like you're celebrating the future version of your own success. They're just happening to experience it before you potentially, right? So it's a really important piece of the success game. So let's get into this whole idea around recreating yourself, shifting from employee to entrepreneur, and what that looks like and what I have noticed. Because the reason this topic came to mind is because I have been observing, right? My team is quite big now, right? And I don't have the time to be super involved in everybody's stuff. Like I don't have the time to like everybody's posts or comment on everybody's stuff. And of course, I don't even have everybody on my Facebook. It's just gotten to the point where I can't possibly keep up or manage it. But what I have shifted into in the last little while, probably last couple of years, is taking a step back and observing the success leaves clues. So I step back and I observe in my organization, in my business, the things that I noticed that somehow are related to people's success. And they're maybe not the most obvious things that are not talked about. And so I'm paying attention going, why is this person winning, excelling, flourishing, multiplying their success and growing? And why does this person kind of seem to be a record that's skipping? It's like progress, skip right back to where they were 6 months ago. Progress, skip right back to where they 6 months ago. Saying the same stuff, acting the same way, showing up the same way, regurgitating the same fucking information. And it's just this weird thing where like this thing's broken. It appears anyway. It's like a broken record. This thing is multiplying growth. It's like the most incredible exponential growth curve, and I'm observing. And that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today. So if you're excited for this, I want you to comment something sweet in the chat. Let me know you're pumped. Tag your teams. And let's get this second half of this call started, which that was really my intro. So shit happens, right? You guys know this. You guys know how these calls go. I have made massive progress though, because I now actually give my team, Kate and Dave, I give them a topic. Before it was like, what's the topic? I'm like, we'll see when the call starts. Now at least there's an intention of a topic. So we've definitely made some progress. All right. So what I'm about to say here is I'm going to go into like flow state. Okay. It's going to come out however it comes out. And I just want to kind of have a little bit of a warning in advance that what I'm about to share is not meant to personally attack anybody. Okay. It's not meant to offend anybody. It's not meant to make fun of anybody. It's not meant to put anybody down. I'm just going to use examples. All right. And those examples are totally for example purposes only. And if it happens to fit you, I'm sorry. That's not why. I don't know, I don't know how people are. It's just so, I'm just going to say it again, like, please don't get mad. I just want this to be an opportunity to be a paradigm shift. I want this to be an opportunity where you can not take it personally, not let the ego kind of get in the way. And just after this call, give yourself a bit of an audit. Give yourself a bit of a thing where you're like, did any of the stuff Balazs mentioned apply to me? And if it applies, make a change if you want. If it doesn't apply, ignore it. Really, really, really simple. So where I'm getting at with this is that I'm going to list off a few different things that I've seen. And these are just examples. And you can take it from there and go deeper, right? We don't have enough time to possibly get into all the different examples of what I'm making. But by the end of the call, I hope that you'll get the general idea, like the general gist of what I'm trying to get at here. And so I'll start with this. Okay. Most of us, and this is coming from me personally as well. A lot of what I'm sharing, I've been through it, or I'm currently going through it, or I'm going to be going through it again in the future. So I'm not exempt from any of this stuff. And I want you to know that, right? A lot of the most difficult, challenging experiences that I've had building an addict, building a brand, becoming successful, becoming a millionaire, all these different kind of accolades have come with tremendous personal shedding of my old self. You know what I mean? Like, and it's painful to let go of who you were so you can make room for who you need to become. And so the first place that I want to start, which is a complete game changer. Okay. I mean, this is going to be the thing that I want you to remember after this call. If you only remember one thing, remember this. This is the game changer right here. So you're making this transition, right? From the past life, quite literally past life. Whether you're a brick and mortar business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're this, whether you're that, you're making a transition from your past life, the life that you basically have looked at and said, no, this is not how this shit's going to go down. It may have been how it's gone down up until this point. Fair. I'm grateful. I'm happy. Wouldn't change a thing. All good. But moving forward from this day on, that is no longer acceptable, right? So it is quite literally a past life transforming into a new life. So with that being said, you want to make a change, right? And everybody has a really cool story around like how you found out about an addict, how you found out about this opportunity. Some people have seen an ad on the internet scrolling and, there's all these really awesome stories like, man, I was having a really shitty week at my job and I was driving home in traffic and I'm like, fuck this, fuck my job, I've had enough, right? The line in the sand moment, I've had enough of this shit. My wife doesn't think that I can like support this family and she's giving me kind of like side eye, whatever the story is, right? And then you're like, fuck that. And then you get home or you're stuck in traffic and you open your phone to, mindlessly scroll on social media or something and you see an ad. You're like, whoa. And it kind of speaks to you, right? And you're like low point in your life, ready to make a change. This ad happens to speak to you right in that moment and you click on the shit, you register for the webinar. And next thing you know, you're listening to some crazy guy with violet, bright ass lights behind his couch. And you're like, how the fuck did I get here? So we all have these really crazy stories about how we got here. And there's a spark. Okay. There's a spark, and this spark is really important. It's super relevant. So there's a flame inside of you. There's a dream inside of you. There's this possibility for a different life inside of you, but it's dormant. It's quiet. It's dead. You've given up. Life is fucking hard. All these responsibilities, family, kids, everything. You've given up. You don't know you've given up. You've given up. And then the ad, the friend, the text message, the phone call, some way, the flame is lit. The spark is ignited. All of this stuff comes back. You remember your dreams when you were in high school. You remember your conversations with your friends before life punched you in the face about what kind of successful person you're going to become. Are you going to travel the world? Are you going to live a certain way? Are you going to be stay-at-home parents or whatever the dream is? And all of a sudden, all of it comes back to the forefront, right? And you go, wow. I think this is it. Like, I really think I can do something here. Like, I think this vehicle is amazing. I think this water is incredible. This opportunity, look at the size of these commission checks, and all the dreams start to flow, right? The possibilities come into your awareness like, wow. And then if that happens, then this can happen. And man, if I can just get this and this to happen, then this can happen. And whoa. And you know what I mean? And that spark is the most beautiful thing, right? It's the most beautiful feeling to feel alive. The spark is burning. The flame is ignited. It's so, so beautiful. And then you're showing up to this dream, this spark, this flame with the old you, right? The past life version of you, and it's not a fit. And so we talk a lot about the transformation we must make internally first, right? Your inner world becomes a reflection of your outer world and vice versa. So you have to change your thoughts. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your beliefs. And this is all the internal stuff, which is, you already know this. And a lot of you still listening to me right now or listening to the replay some point in the future are still going to hear what I say. You're still going to register this whole thing around, yeah, personal growth, personal development. Yeah, read the books, listen to audios. Yeah, cool. Let's talk about money. All right. You want to kind of skip over that. And you hear me, but you don't hear me. It doesn't sink in. It doesn't register. And so you don't take that as seriously as you need to. You don't apply the learn, do, teach methodology. You just do the learn. You just do the next book, the next audio, the next podcast, the next, thinking that that's what we're saying when we say personal growth. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is learn, do it, apply it, get a result, good or bad, fail, make progress, do it again, figure it out, have some results, teach it to someone who doesn't have those results yet, and then do that shit all over again, compound it for a really long time. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about personal growth. Now, there's so many people that are constantly doing just part of the equation. And when you do part of the equation, you're not going to get the results. So this is where I'm coming from. When you're in high school, right? Most of us can probably relate to this. You start to develop like who you are, at least who you think you are, based on the people you surround yourself with, right? Your peer group, your friends, whatever. You start to dress a certain way. You start to have your look, your hair, your whatever, like your appearance, right? Everything all included. Maybe you got a bunch of piercings. Maybe you got a bunch of tattoos. Maybe you got a bunch of this, whatever. None of it is good or wrong, right or bad, whatever, none of that stuff. It's just, that's where a lot of us basically made this choice of like, this is my identity. This is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is my favorite color. This is my favorite movie. This is my, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these things around your identity most likely came from a time in your life that does not compare to who you want to be now, right? Am I right? Just drop a yes in the chat if you can understand how certain things about you most likely come from a really, really, really long time ago, okay? So this is the first thing that I want you to give yourself an audit around is, when was the last time you recreated yourself in the sense of maybe going, I did used to like this, but do I really like that now? Maybe not. Maybe that was just a season or a chapter of your life, and that's fine. I mean, when we look at some of our like, high school photos and shit, like I've seen some of mine and I'm like, why, who the fuck is that? It's like full blown puberty type shit, I'm just like, holy fuck, that's a different guy. But it's part of me. It's part of my journey. It's part of a chapter of my season. And I honor that. And I leave it there. But you have to essentially take a moment and go, do I have to continue being this person? Do I have to continue liking what I used to like? And that applies to everything. That applies to how you dress, how you look, what you eat, your hobbies, your passions, your everything you can think of, right? It applies to all of it. And you can stop and go, you know what? I really don't give a fuck about that anymore. And it's okay. And then you go, but I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to learn this. I've always wanted to learn that, whatever. And then you make that shift and then you start becoming this new person. So the question here, which I've been alluding to this whole time, but I'm just going to lay it out for you very crystal clear. And I want you to write this down, is I want you to ask yourself, here you are where you are right now, right? Everybody's in a different place and it's perfect for you exactly where you are. There's no right or wrong. So you're exactly where you need to be. Ask yourself, who do I need to become for where you want to go? So if you want to be a 6A2-3 in an adjunct, right? Or you want to make $100,000 per month, or you want to donate to a certain charity, or you want to start an off-grid resort, or you want to have a sanctuary that rescues animals. All of that stuff is amazing, right? For each their own. Ask yourself, who do I need to become that is different from who I am that gets that result effortlessly? Where $100,000 a month isn't this big stretch. It's not this big dream. It's just normal. It's like the same thing as your current income is for you now, right? Like if you think about it, whatever your paycheck is at your job or your salary or your monthly income, whatever, and you look at how much you've been earning, that to you just seems like clockwork at this point, right? It just seems normal. Every 2 weeks, this gets deposited in the account. You're not disappointed. You're not excited. It's automatic. It just is what it is. The person you need to become to make $100,000 a month, that 100,000 that comes into their account every month, every week, whatever, it's the same thing. It's not that exciting. It's not disappointing. It just is, because the person who you became, that is automatic. That's just matching who they are. And it's normal, right? It's no longer this thing. And so if that person who makes 100 grand a month wants to make $1 million a month, a lot of things have to change. So you have to go, who do I need to become for me to create enough value in the marketplace, or my investments to grow, or certain like perspectives and priorities in my life to shift, for $1 million a month to just be normal, to just not be a big deal. It just happens. It just comes in. So the thought process here for everybody is, when we're talking about recreating yourself, there's a congruency thing that we always discuss when it comes to your target market, your target avatar. And there's a really big thing, once again, that I've seen, where what you're promoting and who you're being and how you're living are not a match. And so therefore you're telling people something such as, start an automated online business, and you just have checks rolling in and all this kind of shit, and you don't have to do much, and oh wow, it's an automated platform and whatever. And yet you're constantly on Instagram or Facebook or marketing yourself or writing these long posts, and that's not a match. Because here you're saying it's easy, it's automated, you can basically do fuck all and the sales keep rolling in. But the reality of the situation is, if I'm observing you, you're fucking nonstop posting and videos and content and pictures and whatever. Now, of course, there is a little caveat to what I'm saying, is you could have a team helping you. You could have other people doing it for you. Yes, that is, a little asterisk, but for most people, that's not actually the case. They don't have a team doing that. They're personally doing that, but then they're promoting something else, or somebody promoting luxury or high status lifestyle, whatever. But then the reality of what they're living and experiencing and who they're being does not match that. So, there's a lot of incongruencies. And now I will confess to something along this same example that I'm making. And my confession is that I wasn't properly taking care of my body. I wasn't properly eating. I wasn't properly exercising. I was making excuses. I was prioritizing other things. And therefore I was out of, being congruent also. And so what I've done recently is I did this exact same process I did this exact same process that I'm sharing with you right now around recreating myself. And so I was like, who do I need to become to hit my next level version of me, then my next level version of my goals, my income, my marriage, my family, as a dad, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a mentor. And I just kind of did this like thing. And one thing that I recognized about myself is that I wasn't living up to this piece of myself. And what I realized was like, for me to get to the next level, I have to have my nutrition and my working out dialed in. Okay. Now, this is just an example. And so a lot of us, me included, as of recently, are not showing up in the way they need to show up, right? Like with Enagic, specifically with the water, is like, they're not a product of the product. They're not drinking enough water. They're not using all the different settings on the machine. They're not taking their Ukon. They're not, showering in a Nespa. They have that shit put away in storage, some people, which is fucking crazy, and all this kind of thing. So it's like, even there, you're not showing up in the way of the vehicle or the product that you're representing, right? That's an example. So anyway, so now I'm going, okay, I've gotten to where I've gotten to in my life, good and bad, pros and cons, results and failures and all the rest of it. And it's just, it is what it is. It's like, put a bow on it, past life, line in the sand moment. You can do this at any point. It doesn't have to be connected to your first day with when you started your Enagic business. You can do that shit every month. You can do it on New Year's Day. You can do it on your birthday. You can do it today. You can do it tomorrow. You can do it anytime you fucking want. And so for me, I was like, okay, I'm going to make this change. And the awareness that came up was I needed accountability. And part of the reason why I've struggled with this is not because I didn't want to, not because I, was lazy. All this other stuff wasn't really my main problem. My main problem was accountability and having a professional coach me and train me and do the damn thing. So I hired somebody September. I've been working with them now for 6 months. There's been this process that I've committed to. And ultimately, I know that things take time. I know that where I am and where I want to be, there's a gap. And that gap is all about consistency, showing up, consistency, showing up. So I'm okay with that transformation taking time, right? Just like you need to be okay with your transformation taking time in your business. Like you start here, you decide who do I need to become to be a 6A? Who do I need to become to be a great leader? Who do I need to become to influence others, to have people listen to what I have to say? Who do I need to become to show up in this way? You know what I'm saying? So it's always this, who do I need to become? And then find other examples of people that have that already. So for example, for me, the people that I look up to in business and entrepreneurship that are successful, doing like $1 million a month in revenue and profit and so on, every single one of these people works out. Every single one of these people eats healthy. Every single one of these people does all this kind of thing, right? And if they don't, I'm not even wanting to listen or to learn from them because I know that it's not sustainable. And eventually they're going to get a disease and an illness. And then all the money in the world that they have is fucking useless because they lost their health, and health is wealth. So yes, there are some people like that out there. They're not even in my awareness. They're not even in my matrix because I'm like this. So I stepped up. And I'm on 64 days straight. I decided that the person who I want to become and am becoming currently under construction, under transformation, doesn't take days off. I don't need a rest day. I will work out every single day for an hour, some form of exercise. It can be different stuff. And so this is a commitment. So I shifted my identity, not from who I used to be to keeping that the same. And then saying, now this person I used to be is going to start working out. No. I shifted my identity to I am just the person who works out for an hour every single day. It's non-negotiable. Don't even try to fucking talk me out of it. Don't even try to tell me everybody needs a rest day. That's fine. It might be true for you. It might be true for someone else. It's not like a personal thing. It's just that isn't true for me because I can go for an hour-long walk if I'm sore. And yes, it's not intense exercise. Yes, it's not as crazy. It still counts as an hour of exercise. And I can do that if I really, really feel like I need a rest day. But really, I don't, because I have 23 other hours of my day that I can rest. So this is me. This is not to put it on you or to say this is what you need to do, but this is part of my new identity, right? Another thing that I made a change is instead of following a diet, paleo, vegan, this, carnivore, whatever, I'm now following a philosophy. I'm following a methodology around my food, and I follow a precision nutrition methodology where there's anytime meals, which is kind of obvious. It's quite literal. Anytime, you can eat it anytime you want, anytime you're hungry. And then there's a post-workout meal. And those two things are different with what's on your plate. The protein, fat to carb ratio is different. And I follow this new methodology now. And another area that I recognized we were having a challenge, we were new parents, we had a lot on our plates. So we hired a house manager, a nanny, mainly like house manager duties so far, keeping everything super organized, everything super clean. The food gets prepared fresh, like clockwork. Boom, this is when I eat, this is when I eat, this is when I eat. Now, here's the thing, here's the trip. Financially, okay, based on my current income, it's a stretch in the sense of like, it doesn't really make sense financially to pay what we're paying all these people that we're hiring, right? Seems like out of balance a little bit. But based on who I want to become, what we pay is normal. So you see how you can step into who you want to become now and feel that it's uncomfortable. And that lasts for a temporary amount of time. When I first flew business class, very first time, it seemed insane. Like what I paid for my flight cost more than all of my expenses for the month at the time. So it was like, this is not smart. Like this does not make sense. This is stupid. You know what I mean? Like every financial advisor on the planet would call me stupid. My accountant would call me stupid. Everyone would call me stupid. But instead of lowering myself down and staying who I was at the time, I said, no. The person who I want to become flies business because it's just the normal thing. You're not going to be squished between a bunch of fucking others, people that smell and fart on you all day, all flight, I should say. Hopefully not all day, as long ass time, depending on how far you're flying, right? And they don't do that. You know what I mean? That's just not normal. That's like not a thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to rise into who I need to become. It's going to be super uncomfortable, way outside of my budget, whatever at the time. Then I experienced it. And then I go, okay, new level of abundance unlocked. Now I know what it feels like. Now I know why these other people are doing that. And therefore, I've now leveled up that part of my vibration to go, this is just how I need to do this moving forward. Ironically, after I made that jump, that leap, that uncomfortable feeling, boom, my income caught up to then normalize the cost of the flight to the rest of my income versus my expenses. It all normalized it. And ironically, this is the crazy part. What I paid for my business class flight and what I would have paid for economy in my old income level was the same percentage of my new income. Think about that for a second, how crazy that is. It's so cool, right? So now all of a sudden it's like, this is just normal. The same way that $600 used to feel, now $6,000 feels like that. And it's boom, right? And so this is the reason why I say this whole thing around recreating yourself is you're going to be finding yourself in a lot of scenarios and you're going to justify it based on your employee mindset, based on your past experiences, based on who you are. And you want to shift that to who do I need to become now, right? So here's another example. When we had our first apartment, Margaret and I, when we first moved in together 10 years ago, I was working at my door-to-door job and I was getting paid consistently. It was straight commission. So it was like a little bit of a fluctuation. And we picked it based on our current income at the time, both of our incomes together, right? We're like, yeah, this makes sense. Like we can afford this. This is like rent. This is our utilities, whatever. So we picked this place that wasn't special, wasn't nice. It was like a fucking dungeon. It had no natural light, no windows. It was kind of disappointing. It was kind of like, like we didn't really want to spend much time there. We, just slept in our little cave that didn't have windows. And it wasn't like an inspiring place. So we did that for a little while. It was like, I can't remember how long we lived there. It was 6 months or a year. I can't really remember back how long it was. But all of a sudden, I had this epiphany that who I wanted to become was the person who ran the sales office. I no longer wanted to be the guy who just knocked the doors. So I had this identity evolution, this transformation of like, no, I don't want to stay this guy. I don't want to stay in this place. I don't want to earn this type of income. I'm going to grow into the person who I need to become. Now, where does that person live? Do they live in a badass, brand new luxury condo with beautiful views of the mountains, inspiring, wake up in the morning, like you drink your coffee and you're like, fuck, I'm a fucking champion. Like, let's go to the office and crush the day, because your environment, your surroundings are abundant. They represent this different reality, right? So all of a sudden we go, we got to move. So same thing. We start looking online, different, ads, whatever. We find a brand new condo. No one's ever lived in it before. It was like, I think almost double our rent, but my income hadn't doubled at the time. So I'm going, oh man, I got to stretch. I got to make this adjustment, and I got to step into this new person who I want to become, where that doesn't feel like double any longer. So we move in, literally like in the first month, everything starts to shift. I'm showing up differently to work. I have a different kind of confidence. My chest is like, I'm just like, I feel good. You know what I mean? Then guess what? The income caught up. The income surpassed what I needed. And this has been true ever since. And so I want to encourage you guys to think about it from this new standpoint. Like, maybe you're operating a laptop for your online business that's old, it's slow, you've had it a really long time, and your mindset, because of being an employee before, was thinking, well, I'm going to let this laptop, run its course and get the most amount of miles out of it so I can really utilize what I spent on this computer. And I don't want to like just get the latest thing and like waste money. I want to save money. All of that shit is employee mindset. Employee mindset consumes. So they're the ones scrolling on fucking social media, consuming. An entrepreneur creates. An entrepreneur is creating content, creating ideas, creating new possibilities, right? An employee mindset saves. They're afraid of spending money. They're operating from lack and scarcity. That's an employee mindset. An entrepreneur is an investor. They're going, man, if I invest money into my tools of the trade, my laptop, my cell phone, my lights, my webcam, my home office environment. So I walk in there and I go, holy fuck, this is the millionaire version of me. I'm not a millionaire yet, but when I'm in this space, I'm inspired. Everything about this is resonating with who I want to become, where I want to go versus who I am now. And so I want you to think about all this and let go and shed this old part of who you were at some point. Like my brother really actually broke this down really well inside my Diamond Life Mentorship community that some of you are in. And he broke this down really well, is like, for most people, there is an online persona of you. And then there's the offline persona of you. And you have to understand that when you're offline, right, in person, there's so many dynamics and variables that are at play for your first impression if you meet somebody, right? Your energy, your body language, your laugh. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens when you're in person, and it happens very quickly. So your first impression is established in a different way. Whereas online, none of that stuff happens. Somebody lands on your profile, they see a photo of you, it's a still shot, you're maybe smiling, maybe serious, and it's just giving you a small representation of who you are in that moment. So first impression in person and a first impression online is like two different planets. It's completely different. So you have to play the online game of being able to transfer this persona in a great, powerful way that still shows the version of you that who you want to become, right? And it's not fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that. It's own it, but then step into where you want to go. So it's a little different. So I want you to ask yourself this and see if there is a few things that you can do that don't necessarily have to cost a lot of money. But an example of that would be, how would you What type of equipment would you use in your business if you were already the person who you needed to become? So you're already living this next level version of you. Would you have the latest iPhone so you have the best technology to take the best pictures and videos and editing and all this kind of thing? Maybe that's something that you should look at. Or are you running a webcam that is built into your computer, or did you invest like $100 into a little bit of a better quality webcam? You know what I mean? Like investing in the tools of the trade. So you look better, you show up differently, you show up more confidently, and you're stepping into this person of who you need to become, right? Another really big one is your home environment. So sometimes it's best that you move, right? And I know that seems kind of drastic, but most people buy their house or choose the place they live where they're renting from before they started this business. So when you look at your thought process, your priorities, your values, and why you pick the place that you picked, is it the same as the person who you want to become? Probably not, right? That doesn't make sense. So the employee mindset person is thinking, how close is it to my job? How much is my commute? Are there great schools nearby? Is there enough bedrooms? Whatever. I'm just making this shit up. So it's like, it's a different set of priorities, right? Home office, don't even need a home office because you work at your job, you leave your job when you leave the work, you come home and it's personal time. Why would you need an inspiring place inside of your home to be able to work on a business when you don't even have a business? So all these things are totally out of alignment. So that's the first thing that usually makes the biggest difference for a lot of people is simply moving. So you move to a new place or you sell your house, you buy a new house, whatever. And when you look at this, you have to do it before you're ready. This is the biggest thing. Like if you do it before you're ready, you will grow into the person who is then ready. So yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to be stressful for a period of time, but then that pressure creates diamonds. So next thing you know, you rise up to the occasion and go, okay, my mortgage is this. Now it's this. What most people do, employee mindset, once again, is let me save, let me have all my ducks in a row. Let me play it super safe and have no risk. And then I'll move and then I'll buy this thing and then I'll do this other thing. And they don't stretch. They don't challenge themselves. And therefore your growth is hindered. Your dream places that you want to move to, other people keep buying them. So there's basically never a spot on the market that is right for you. And all this kind of shit happens. But when you take that leap, all of a sudden you're like, okay, before I moved, I was kind of working hard on my business. Not really. I was kind of fucking lazy. Yeah. I was kind of procrastinating. Yeah. Why? Because you weren't concerned about paying your rent or your mortgage in the old place. All of a sudden you double it or triple it, right? You're like, I can't be lazy. I can't like lay around and I gotta work. I gotta step up. I gotta make some shit happen. And next thing you know, your level of productivity rises, your confidence rises, what you're marketing in your business, you're embodying and living it. So there's all these really powerful steps of how to tap into the abundance frequency that is existing in this type of business, right? Because success loves speed. You need to create momentum and you need to show progress. You need to show growth. You need to show that you got the balls to fucking step up and like elevate and rise and elevate and grow and take it to the next level until, not forever, but until you can literally be like, my environment breeds success and success breeds more success. So you have to just scale it to a certain point. Like I'll give you an example of once again of us is like the place that we're living in right now is like $2 million, right? And it's really nice place. We love it here. It's our level one. We call it our level one dream home. And the reason we call it level one dream home and not like our ultimate dream home is because we're 35, right? We have a long life, hopefully, left to live. And so it'd be kind of crazy for this to be our one and only home we've ever purchased in our whole lifetime. And it's kind of not realistic, right? We're going to obviously grow and evolve, want to change things up eventually. So here was my thought process. Now, this might work for some of you. It might not work for other people, or it might not work for you. It might work for some people. It's almost like your risk tolerance, essentially. What my vision is how can I play the game of life in a way where I can create a certain level of abundance around myself that inspires me to grow, inspires me to level up, inspires me to continue striving for greatness. And then once I have that base foundation, such as our level 1 dream home, my level 1 dream car, you know, like all kinds of trips and stuff that we've been on, it's this really fine balance where now all these pieces have been established. I've got a taste of the life that I want to be my everyday reality. So I've stayed at extravagant, beautiful, you know, diamond 5-star resorts in Bora Bora and Maldives and all these places. So we've gotten a taste of what life could be like. And it was a taste, it was an appetizer, it wasn't permanent, and it wasn't every day. So you get a taste and you go, okay, now how do I rise up to make that my everyday perfect day normal? So what we've done is we got uncomfortable to step into the level 1 dream reality that we wanted for ourselves. Okay. And I'm talking materialistic stuff, but this is not just about materialistic stuff. This is much more than that. So we stepped into that. Boom. Now, since then, every single day, I want you to imagine that you go on this retreat. You go to this beautiful location, this beautiful view, beautiful home, beautiful vehicles, beautiful life, beautiful everything, right? And you go to this vacation or this retreat, and you're blown away, right? You wake up in the morning, can't believe it's real life. A lot of you have experienced this before. You wake up, you're like, holy, wow. Okay. That feeling creates more success. That vibrational match of gratitude, joy, like, wow. It's literally a feeling of wow. Okay. That's the feeling that Margaret and I get where we live right now. Okay. Which is pretty cool. So every day we wake up, it's been over 3 years that we live here. We still can't believe we live here. Okay. Now it's partially to do with where we come from and our past and our childhood and everything else. It's just like a comparison thing of like, we started here and now we're here. Wow. So we're always blown away. But because we're in that constant state of wow and gratitude, and I can't believe we live here and can't believe this is our life and so on, it breeds more opportunities. It breeds more success.